Hey everybody, a little bit of a non-traditional opening for a man alone video here. We'll get to the seals. I know everyone likes the seal intro, but I wanted to after I was done recording this video, I wanted to just record this and tag this on the front end just to give a little bit of an introduction. I, for whatever reason, have just been thinking about Death in Space all day. And like I think about this game a lot, and like a lot of you, I just probably the same. Like just love the way that it looks. It's so incredibly stark and minimal, but really, really powerful, and the design choices are so awesome. Unfortunately, of all the games in sort of the like Morkborg Stockholm Kartell universe, this one gets the least amount of attention. And that's such a shame because besides this incredible design, it's a really taut game. In fact, it has just about everything OSR wise that Morkborg or Cyborg have, but infinitely more like readable and discernible, and doesn't have that sort of chaos and mayhem that could be a turnoff for some people. But the reason that it doesn't get as much love is because this is the only book from Stockholm Kartell, whereas there are just like a zillion Morkborg Cyborg ones. And so I solo played this about 2 years ago, and I didn't love the solo play supplement. And so I put it in the back seat, and I would just think of it every once in a while and be like, man, I wish there was like a solo module for this. And then today I was like, what am I doing? Why am I waiting? So I just put together some like tables. This is like a D100 on the left of verb, modifier, noun that's pretty specific to Death in Space. And then on the right is just a D20 that's more like general, like sci-fi. And we use this, and we can use also like the tools that we have, Fate Mill, the Null dice for NPCs, and we can use, the encounters in here. There's a cheat sheet, pretty simple, like D20, one D20 plus ability, and then results over 12, or 12 or higher are successes. And so I was like, I just got to do it. And it couldn't be at a worse time either. I did just release my own Dragonbane solo supplement, which I made a video on yesterday. And so doubtless, if I was a good businessman, I would be pumping that up. And for sure, you should check out the link below. If you like what you see here, follow the channel, check out that solo supplement. Thank you to so many people have already picked it up, and we're just so excited about that. But look, it's like I got a fever, and the only cure is more Death in Space cowbell. I just have to play. I just had to play it. And so yeah, I did the intro, and then I'm filming this, and then I'll actually, like, after the intro thing where I introduce a character and just sort of like freestyle for 10 minutes in that character, then we'll try to like play it through as much as we can. So I'll go over it a little bit, just like talk about the system, how it works, and then we'll try to play for like a half hour or something like that. What is really interesting, what I want to say, and why I feel like it is irresponsible for me, from our community, if I don't say something, is that way back in August, and this is really weird, but like way back in August of 2023, they had this release, and this is like deathinspace.com, where they said, oh, we're announcing this new expansion. It's Dead Flag contracts, and it's like it's supposed to be scenarios and different encounters and stuff, and it takes place in Dead Flag City, this fuel depot on a planet that's a focal point of the gem war that shows up in this book. And the design is, on point, incredible. And then there's just nothing. I mean, they even had like the inside of this book designed, and there's just nothing. There's been nothing since then. I don't know if they showed it at Gen Con or what, but it's just really strange. Like it just got memory hold, and it said that it's planned for release during 2024. I mean, that would be incredible, but there's just like a month left or 2 months. And so I really hope that does get released, or that we hear something about it. If anyone from Free League or Stockholm Kartell is watching this, like, let us know. We're eager to know more about this. This is like an awesome book, and an awesome member of the Stockholm Kartell Rogues Gallery. But other than that, I'm just gonna kind of try my best here to solo it and make my way through it. And at the very least, if you're a person that hasn't heard of this before, it'll give you a chance to see this awesome role playing game, and maybe give you some ideas of how you could solo it, or somebody out there could make a supplement for it. Okay, so without further ado, enjoy the show.
Dear Diary, good God, this is so stupid. Dear Diary, my name is Baker Cage, and my friends call me Trauma. I've been working on the iron rig for 127 months, and it was recommended to me by the good doctor on board here that I take a day off to write down my thoughts in a journal. She said it might help to ground me, tether me back to reality. I was tethered. I was out doing a walk like I always do, and I got confused is all. I saw something that reminded me of something, and why am I doing this? Alright, come on, Baker, just get it done. Alright. You know, I remember a quote from high school. It's probably the only damn thing I remember. I don't know why it's stuck in my head, but it's an English class, which is my least favorite. But it was George Byron, and he said, the rivers, what was it? Yeah, the rivers, lakes, and ocean all stood still, and nothing stirred within their silent depths. Now, Byron, I mean, he's got to be 1,000 years old. He doesn't know about the void, but part of me thinks he does. I don't know. I mean, I was born in the void, so I spent more time in 0G than I have on a planet, but you see, I'm not as dumb as I sound, so I know these folks are trying to hide something from me. And I've read some of these papers, you know, mathematicians, scientists, and all that. And, you know, they cook it up with all kinds of complicated vocabulary, but bottom line I'm seeing on all these is man, I don't know any other way to say it, but they seem to be saying that the universe is collapsing. I mean, that ain't really wrong. I mean, I think they knew that 100 years ago when they came out here, and I think they knew it, they just ain't telling us. Anyways, I've been thinking about that, and on my last walk, I got close to that feeling, that nothing, you know. I was on the precipice of it or something, and you know, I think most people they don't respect the word nothing. When they say nothing, they mean like you know, less than something, or they mean nothing right now. But you know, when I'm close to that, I don't even know what it is. That emptiness, you know. And I was just a little bit closer than I have been in a while. And I just started thinking, you know, nothing means no thing. It means nothing. And that's a different kind of feeling than having something take up space that should be yours. But what we got, what's happening here, is that we got the absence of a thing crowding us in. George Byron, who wrote that quote, he probably looked up at the sky. He saw so many stars he couldn't count them. Now, I still can't count them. There's a whole lot, but every time I go out walking, there's less than them. You see what I mean? I don't count them, but I just know that there's less of them points of light out in the sky. And so, I was on a routine walk, and I just felt it. There was everything is folding in on itself. And think about all these behemoths that we got coming over here, coming from who knows where, trying to get shelter, but from what? Excuse me, from what? What are they trying to find? They ain't trying to find nothing. They're trying to get away from nothing. You see what I mean? God, look at me again, trying to convince a piece of paper. All right, so just say these people who pay us to go out and find these gems. Think about that. They came out here 100 years ago. They had to see the edge of the Tenebris just like me. They had to know that those stars were twinkling out. And so what they do? Did they face up to it? Did they try to find out what's going on? Did they try to face reality? That there isn't going to be a reality anymore? No. They couldn't find any more things twinkling out there, so they started looking for things twinkling under their feet. I mean, damn, I can't think of anything more nihilistic than that. And these gems, you see a whole planet just growing gems like grass. And you don't think to yourself for a second that maybe they aren't so valuable? And then think about it. You probably need 100 of those damn gems to buy 1 foot of a Kentucky bluegrass lawn. But we don't call a lawn a precious metal. We don't call a blade of grass a gem. No. We're still obsessed with the shiny things. And it wouldn't be nothing if it was just the obsession, some kind of hobby. But my grandfather died on an Aro. Yeah, he went out there for the gem rush. He died. And that's all I know about his story. And I was doing more than seeing that void, you understand? I was tasting it. I could smell it. I could smell the emptiness. And I thought to myself for a second, my grandfather ain't got no story. And hell, if this whole universe is getting swallowed up, is there anything left of any importance whatsoever other than a story? And who the hell's gonna know mine? I guess in a way, maybe this here diary is the only way I'm gonna be able to tell it. I mean, we sure as hell ain't being protected by nobody. The government? Hell, that's about as much government as 4 kind of convenience stores linked together, telling each other that they run the whole city block. Nothing but oligarchs. And crap at that. Oligarchs. More like crappy little city-states. From going around little old asteroid mines trying to find the remainders of gems that have been long plumbed up. And that static. And I hear it. I know I ain't the only one. We're all playing a game of liar's poker, pretending that we don't hear the static. But it ain't just static, is it? It's like that void. It's like that nothing. It's taking on a life of its own. Something beyond what we could understand. Something beyond our vocabulary. I think it's been speaking to me. I think the void's got a voice. I don't know nothing about my grandfather, but I know he was proud just like me. He wouldn't even let people hear his voice. He spoke through one of them scramblers. So, I don't know. What choice do I have? sit here and confess myself as a requirement of my job. Damn, my grandfather would have spit in your face. He would say, well, now I don't know what he was saying. I think most of what I know about him is just a story I made up. Sometimes I wonder about if he was on a Noro, or if he was on this damn iron ring just like me. Anyways, while I was spacewalking, I thought about that fact that universe, the one that's collapsing, it's collapsing on all of us. It's collapsing on me, on you, on every sheet of paper in this journal. It's collapsing on the iron ring, and we can't stop it. But here's where I got into a little bit of a twist, you see. Nothing ain't good or bad, or it ain't supposed to be. But sometimes, when I listen to the static on the radio, I hear something more than just nothing. I hear nothing that's got something to say, and it don't got very kind things to say. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why y'all think I'm losing my grip, why I'm becoming untethered. Maybe I'm the only one who's tethered to the truth. And y'all want me to latch on to a different kind of fiction so I can keep chiseling out your diamonds for you. Well, alright, I'll do it. I'm gonna do it on my terms. Because if I can't have money and I can't have gems and I only got a couple of hollows to my name, I'll tell you what, at the very damn least, I'm gonna create myself something. I'm gonna create myself a story before it all gets flushed down this cosmic toilet bowl, see? Hell, maybe I should have been writing in my diary all along.
12
All right,
seconds
everybody,
later.
let's play some Death in Space. So, a couple of things. Now, I did do that character creation on the fly, so you'll have to forgive a little bit of improvisation. Void in this game is not like necessarily just Voidborn. Void is this, and whereas this is a nihilistic shaman hidden behind masks, speaking through synthetic voice scramblers. My guy is more of like a Georgian truck driver. I think it still fits because one of the things it says is Void have seen visions of the edge of the universe. And so what sounded like came out there is that my character had some sort of vision, some sort of view of the collapsing of the universe. And then I did say that, you know, his grandfather was that. And so the origin ability that I have is Voice of the Void, which is you can make nearby electronics emit static and crackling whispers. So I think that would be kind of cool that sometimes maybe when I'm stressed, that lineage or history of being of the Void origin would kind of break through. As far as what I have, just a couple of modifications as I usually do for solo, just to make this fit. Looks like I'm going to start with a handheld material analyzer, magnetic, what is that? Roots? Magnetic, Roge? I'll figure that out. Roses? Magnetic, boots? Yeah, I think that says boots. Breathing mask for one use, and then a container of engine grease. I have a guard animal who is I think an AI, so we'll say it's like an AI dog. DR13, HP 4, and a bite of 1d6, which is really nice. That works out well just for solo play. And no past allegiances. The drive, this is not one of the options, but this is something that came out. It's like he really wants the truth. He wants to know what the truth of things are. What's like whatever that truth is, let's just get it out there. Now, pretty bad rolls, which are typical of these games and OSR games in general, comparatively, right? So I had a +2 body, but then I had -3 dex, -1 savvy, and 0 tech, just to make it fit with kind of the connection to electronics and everything, and also to give my character a fighting chance. I did do +2 with tech, so it'll be +2 body, -3 dex, -1 savvy, +2 tech. My defense rating, which is 12 plus dex unarmored, is a 9, which that's tough, right? Because that means that if the enemy rolls 1d20 plus, their body for melee or tech for ranged, they just have to get over a 9 to hit me. And then I do have 9 HP. So we'll see how that plays out. I'll probably be able to swing that, especially if I have this AI dog. And then 27 hollows, and it didn't, in the roll-up, didn't say my debt, but we'll just pretend that I've been paying off a family debt, so I just put it as 1,000. And I gave myself a weapon of a pistol, which is condition 3, 5 uses till reload, and 1d6 damage. And in terms of the condition, that 3, at the end of every combat, we'll roll on that. Pretty similar to like Mutant Year Zero with the gear condition. And if there's a fail in that, the condition goes down by 1 until it goes to 0 and is broken. But other than that, the other thing that we have to roll up is a hub. And, this is another personal data sheet. So let's get the hub sheet out. Where's my hub send? Oh, the other thing about character creation I forgot was that my background is Moon Outlaw, which sounds like one of Frank Zappa's kids, but I don't know what that means yet. Maybe we'll find out. It could be that I did something on the moon, or it could be that that's the whole point of me taking on my grandfather's debt, is that he was a moon outlaw, and so now I've sort of inherited that punishment. Okay, the hub is your home, your sanctuary in a tough universe. The crew starts with a station or a spacecraft. A spacecraft is for a campaign centered on exploration. So I'd like to do that in the future, but in this time, I would like to, in the time that we have, I want to try to explore the ring. A lot of the tools in this are centered on the ring, and if the opportunity comes up, we can go out into the Tenebris system, but there's a lot of options just in terms of generating different scenarios and locations within the ring, which every think about it, like if the ring is a big condo, each like condominium is a module, and so there's a table of like 50 different modules and encounters and stuff. So let's see. So your starting hub contains a power source and a set of core functions. We'll do a station as a hub. And as the game progresses, you can mount additional modules. The power source, the hub, the engine powering the hub and its modules is the power source. Supplies and output power, which is OP, which limits the number of additional modules the hub can support. The engine needs fuel to work. At 0 fuel, life support works, but you cannot use any additional modules or travel. All hubs are equipped with a set of core functions. They do not cost any output power. Command center, that's the hub's bridge. Crew quarters, where they sleep. Life support, and mess hall. And the hub starts without any modules, but can upgrade the hub with additional modules, which I must find or steal or obtain them as payment for a big favor. Additional modules are listed later in the book. So we're going to figure out the hub type and frame statistics. And power source and output power, hub background, and quirk. So first, choose your type of hub. We're going to go with a station. Your defense rating is its ability to avoid critical damage to its frame. The condition is a measure of how technologically sophisticated it is in its current state of disrepair. The listed value is the hub's maximum possible condition. Fuel capacity is the maximum amount of fuel. The frame integrity tracks damage to the spacecraft. It is 100% for an unharmed spacecraft. So we could say that right now. I don't know what's the best thing to do here. I want to like color it all in, but I'll maybe regret that once I have to erase it. So we'll just keep it at 100%. Some light hatch marks there. Okay. So a starting station has a DR 11, a defense rating of 11, max condition 5, and fuel capacity current 5, max 5, and a fuel capacity of 4. Okay. Power source. Note down the starting power source and its output power for your hub type. For a station, I have standard industrial generator OP3. So, and that requires 1 unit of fuel per session. The output power limits the number of modules. Okay, the sum of the power cost for all modules must also be less than or equal to the hub's total output power. So that makes sense. So I have 3 modules. It'll each have one or a certain power cost. I'm sure they're all 1 at first. And then if the power drops below that, I have to like cut off modules, which I think is actually pretty cool. Awesome. I'm not sure if my power source is slow, fast, or unknown. So true to what it is, I'll say unknown. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't see. Oh, it doesn't say. So it does say slow for spacecraft, but for station, it doesn't say anything. You know what? I'm wondering if I want to, in fact, say that. Okay, so it says the hub would be for campaigns focused on social interaction and intrigue. For example, on the Iron Ring or a moon colony, the station can be a small base or a repurposed spacecraft, which is part of the section. So we'll say that I almost have like, it's like those people who live like on docked boats and are always hungover. We'll say that like I have at one point was a ship, but it's like an RV in an RV park. Like I'm docked, I'm connected. It would take serious disassembly for me to take that that craft off of there. So it's essentially like a part of the Iron Ring. But before that, the hub background was, let's roll a d20. Where's my, there we go. 15. It was part of the renowned I-Master squadron of the Union Alliance fleet. All right, so that's not telling us much. And I don't know if any of those words mean anything like within the lore of Death in Space. So I'll hold off on assigning a deeper meaning to that, but maybe it will reveal itself. Renowned I-Master squadron, part of the renowned I-Master, like EYE, squadron of the Union Alliance fleet. So actually something did just occur to me. So maybe this like moon outlaw, maybe I was part of, because my history, I was a legionnaire. And so maybe I was part of some Union Alliance army mercenary group and I went AWOL, and that's why maybe there's a warrant out for me on a moon. Oh, that was supposed to be, that's for a spacecraft. Let's see what it says for a station. Maybe we could combine them, or we'll go with what we had here. 2 was used as a prison during the Gem War. I like that. I don't think with the fact that I'm living here with a dog that I want to live in an entire prison. So I'll think of myself as having like a docked spacecraft. And then a quirk, 16. Scrawled on the wall is call in case of emergency along with a number. Call number in case of emergency along with a number. The number goes to a person who can offer contracts to the crew. That's great. So that answers part of the play loop right there, is I can call for contracts. Fantastic. So maybe I don't even know. Maybe that I've been calling this number. I woke up one day and I've been calling this number and I've just been picking up contracts, and somebody visits my, hub for a drink and says, "Wow, what's that number?" I said, "That's my employer." And they say, "Who are they?" And I go, I don't know. I've just been calling a number for 2 years. Okay, rules wise. I guess for appearance, is there anything on the hub appearance, or am I just kind of going to imagine that? Yeah, I guess I'll kind of fill that in, but in terms of coming up with a nickname for that, okay, how about this 2d6 dungeon bookmark? How about we call it Pearl? I like that. We'll call it Pearl, and former shuttle now docked as if in RV park. Gives me Spaceballs vibes. Okay. So that's enough on the hub. Oops, I put Pearl in the wrong spot. Nobody puts Pearl in the corner. All right. So that's on Pearl. A little bit of just how to play. There are 4 stats in the game. They are body, dexterity, savvy, and tech. The only one I think that requires a little bit of explanation is savvy. That would be perception, intuition, street smarts, piloting, resisting psychological effects, detecting illusions, recalling lore. And then tech will be used for range attacks, understanding tech, constructing gear, tinkering with machinery and electronics. So that's nice. I guess like we're thinking of the weapons as more advanced. And that's probably true looking at the outlines of the weapons here. One of the rules of the game, well, not rules, let's say truths, and it's found in this extra section here in the back, which I really has a wealth of good solo information. There's a couple of additional truths or principles. Nothing is new. It's rebuilt over and over. Function rules over fashion. Wires stick out. Protective casings are long gone. Objects are old, ramshackle, repaired, modified. Networks are local and direct rather than open and wireless, and hacking requires plugging in. The gem war is still present, even though it's officially over. There's factionalism. Distant stations are silent. Barely anyone knows what's going on at the outer rim space stations. Traveling takes time. Time is perceived differently when you put life on hold to cryo sleep. Yeah, so the soul pod origin are people that um, go to sleep and then wake up every 3 months and can be alive for 100 years, but only actually awake for like 40 of that. And then the rest would apply to group play. I did transfer the NPC reactions as well as like a little encounter cheat sheet to my Excel document here, just in case we need it. Something that can guide what we run into. But as I was looking through the back here, I think there's going to be more than enough to trigger like different scenarios. One of the bigger things is, and we'll see how balanced this is. This seems like something that was a Kickstarter perk, and so sometimes Kickstarter perks can be very unbalanced, but we'll see. So this is Iron Ring location, so I could just like go down the loop and say, what's this one's a bar, this one is a weapon shop, etc. And then space encounters I'd probably only use if I travel, but where the hell is this? Corrupted by the void, creatures, so that's the bestiary. Sorry, it's so embarrassing. Okay, let me pause it. Okay, so it actually was these Iron Ring locations. It says 50 locations inspired by 99% void safe backers. So, with things like this, they could be really good, or they could just be sort of a person having like their one shot at saying something funny or clever. But either way, we could probably derive something. The question for me with these kind of things is not whether we could derive something useful, but whether it's going to be balanced. I don't want to have some like epic showdown every single thing that I roll in that. Okay, ability checks. We're going to do 1d20 plus the relevant ability. And if it's equal to or greater than 12, task is successful. And on a failure, I suffer a complication and gain a void point. And so the void points, again, work a little bit like Mutant Year Zero. You can get up to 4 of them. You could use them broadly to gain an advantage on an ability or attack roll, or you can activate a mutation. And if you use it to gain advantage, and the roll fails, you get a corruption effect, which is sort of permanent. Now it's pretty open-ended. It's going to give, sometimes it'll give like mechanical effects that has, and sometimes it'll say something like, your skin starts excreting a slimy substance that sticks to anything. Well, I have to determine like how that plays out and what that affects. You could do opposed rolls, 1d20 plus ability value for both involved. Highest wins. Advantage and disadvantage is standard. My character has 14 item slots because you get 12 plus body, and then these are NPC reactions. You get void points for every failed ability check or attack roll. Every time I attack and fail, I gain a void point, and you could have 4. So how to obtain cosmic mutations? One of those ways is by having a starting bonus in character creation, and so I do believe that would be like the voice of the void. I know that that's an origin mutation, maybe. But the other way that we could, let's see, it's on page 22. No, it's not. So I guess maybe it's on page 20. I'm not sure. I could look that up, but you can also get it for player advancement. At the end of each session, you level up, and in rare situations when the void lets loose, activating a mutation requires spending 1 or more void points. The effect lasts around 10 minutes and can be activated from a range of 10 meters unless otherwise stated. More points can result in a bigger effect if the player and referee can agree. The player decides the necessary details of how it manifests. It's kind of the look of it. And then if a void point is spent to gain advantage and the roll fails, you roll 1d6, and if the result is equal to or lower than the current amount of void points after the spend, you get void corruption. No void points gained for that. We could talk about conditions and spare parts if it comes up, as well as repairs. But also, like Mutant Year Zero, there's lots of scrap around, and it sort of is a currency. This is describing spacewalks and EVAs. This is talking about space travel, how to pass time, how to do risky maneuvers, and how to calculate your fuel needs, and combat. We're just going to abscond with the initiative here. I would say that this is one, and I really, really do not want to be too critical of this because I understand why, from a creator standpoint, I understand how you want that sort of rhyming between your mechanics and like what's actually happening. But this suffers from a tragedy of the commons, and I'll explain. Basically, initiative, instead of just doing a standard, roll 1d20 and add dex, which we'll probably do, or just straight up 1d20, it says the one who initiates the conflict begins the first combat round. Okay. If unclear, determine randomly. Okay. When a participant has taken their actions, they pick the next one to act, either friend or foe. So like I would say, okay, I just went next. I'm going to say that, Gene Hackman goes. And it's like, why would I pick a foe? I mean, if I was really being immersive, but when you're talking about group play and you're picking the other enemy to go next, I think your players are going to be like, why are you doing this? And we want it to be immersive, but like I'm GMing a game right now, and at one point they were like using when we were playing Coriolis, actually they ran hot or cold on whether they were using like pushing their roll and giving me darkness points. And you could tell in some of those, like when a person keeps taking darkness points on, that can be used to like mess with the party. It could be quite frustrating because it could lead to the death of your character. And yeah, like we're telling a story and stuff, but just from a matter of time and investment, I don't really appreciate it when like my character, who I've like sketched, I made a little sketch of them, and I decided what they look like and what their personality is and their history. And all of a sudden, this person's getting gunned down because somebody in my group wants to be immersive and choose the foe to go next. And then the process continues until all participants have acted once in the round. The last person to act chooses who begins the next round, and they can choose themselves. Okay. This method of determining turn order reinforces the idea of the player characters as a crew acting together, since they can choose a turn order that combines their actions in a strategic manner. But it doesn't do that. It actually like makes somebody the temporary tyrant. So it'd be different if they could all discuss that. But the fact is, it's like you're going to act and then you're going to determine who goes next. And then also, you're going to find yourself in these situations very often where somebody goes, okay, well, I guess I'll just start. Right. And it's usually the same person or people that say those kind of things. And the reason for dice is to determine these exact types of scenarios. And also, it's not very realistic. If I'm having a firefight in the corridor of, anywhere, doesn't have to be a space station, I'm not going to be like, okay, I've taken my shot. Rick, you go next. Okay, I'm done. Now let's have the enemy shoot. It's going to be mayhem, right? And so I could understand if this was a sort of tactical combat setup, something that was more like a CRPG, but it just roll initiative. Just roll initiative. That's what it's there for. That's what those kind of things are there for, so that we don't have to get in the weeds in this stuff. Anyways, that's my only gripe. Attack rolls, you roll the 1d20, you add body for melee and attack for ranged. And if it's equal to or greater than the opponent's defense rating, the attack's a hit. We roll damage and subtract the result from the hit points. If lower, the attack misses, if it's lower than the defense rating. And then you could do a risky attack, but if it's successful, you do a double attack. You roll a standard attack roll. So I guess you declare a risky attack. And if it's successful, you get an extra damage die. But if it's unsuccessful, the opponent immediately gets a counterattack, in addition to their other actions in the round. And then they get to choose who acts next in the round instead of the attacker. This is one of those things where I think it's probably mathematically determinable that this seems like one of those things that the risk reward feels a little bit off. Now, I'm terrible at figuring these things out, but to me, my sense is that I would just do this every time. I would just be like, yeah, I'll do a risky attack. Because I probably have a chance then to one-shot most enemies, but maybe not. A crit's when you roll a natural 20, and after combat, you roll 1d6 for each weapon used, and on a 1, it loses 1 condition. If the damage rolled in an attack is the maximum possible value, 1 item carried by the defender loses 1 condition. If the damage rolled in the attack is okay, so if it's like a 1d6 and they roll a 6, then it drops their condition. I guess that goes both ways. And then we have cover and shields and morale, which is kind of usual rules on that. For partial cover, attacks against a partly covered person have disadvantage. In full cover, you cannot attack them. A person in full cover cannot attack, but is shielded from ranged attacks, but not melee. Enemies in combat. Stats-wise, an enemy has a defense rating, hit points, morale, and either an attack bonus or ability values for humanoid creatures with body and tech used for melee ranged. If no value is presented for an ability, assume it's to be 0. NPCs of less importance have 0 in all abilities. And then morale, you'll check that. If half the enemy group's defeated, if the enemy goes down to half the hit points, or you get to a leader. This is also kind of weird. I think it could be kind of interesting. I've always thought about this, that you have this table that's like death in space, and I appreciate this table, right? It's like these are the different ways you can die in space, and it says, if you're dead, right, you get hit at 0 or less hit points. You roll a body check. If successful, you're stabilized but unconscious until resting. We'll have to figure out something for solo play for that. And if the check fails, you're dead. And then you roll on this death in space table, and the character dies. And, there's a lot of games that allow you to sort of give yourself a eulogy. But what this one says is, well, the way that you died wasn't your true death. This was supposed to be your death. So go ahead and narrate that true death. So again, you're in this firefight in the corridor. You roll a 9, and it says you drown slowly in your own EVA suit helmet after a cooling system failure. And it's like, well, no, I didn't. Like, my true death is how I died, right? And so it always struck me as kind of funny, like, okay, yes, I know I just got shot, but my true death, how I should have died, was I should have been in space, which is not what's happening right now. So it has less emotional resonance. Now, what would be cool, and it would be kind of hard to manage this because you'd basically have the ultimate plot armor, but maybe a more vague description that you roll at the beginning of the campaign and then say, one way or another, this is how your character is going to die. And then you can figure out a system of, like, if they are not in any way hitting their true death, then they can rally. Maybe that's a cool thing for solo play. Now, again, you wouldn't want to give them full plot armor, so it'd be very vague. I would say you could have things like your character dies fighting for something true. You know, something like that. That actually might be a cool mechanic for solo because that will give you a narrative reason to sort of resuscitate or revive yourself. We probably won't get into a spacecraft confrontation, but there's all sorts of options there. Leveling up, you get that from repairing something, delivering a dangerous contract, using a void point, discover a new place, gain a new enemy, find someone that you trust, or contribute to something memorable. And then we have the extras. So we have a hub, we have a character, and I suppose that we can probably use the rumors sheet. Nope, we're not going to use my... I promise I didn't do that for product placement. Well, I'll there it is. Okay, let's use the rumors here to figure out what rumor we'll start with, and then we'll play. So first you roll, what is it? A D10. All right, we could just use this. We'll do. All right, 4. So that is cease of communications, and then roll a D6. 1. Okay. There are rumors that the mining colony on planetoid MX-217 has stopped sending life signals for weeks. Some say it could be an accident, but others claim to have detected suspicious pirate activity in there. So we'll start with that rumor. We'll start on the Iron Ring, see what happens from that. By the way, this is a cool tool. And I bought it on itch. It's pay what you want. It's pretty good, thorough document. Throw the person $1 or $2 if you can. But yeah, so we will start with that rumor, and we will begin in 3. And you know what? I'm actually going to use... let's see if I can find it in here. There is like a little bit of a pre-made Iron Ring layout module here. I could just use the book, which is right in front of me, but I'd rather make myself dizzy. Okay, so the Hina Tsurutsuru bar, and the there's a description of this. The Tsurutsuru. On the 3rd floor of the scaffolding, bed capsules have been removed to make room for this famous bar, which also extends like a balcony to the platform outside and is the main hangout for workers arriving from late shifts. It's dim, constantly packed with people reeking of smoke and sweat, offensive, holographic entertainment. We get the picture. Those who manage to get a seat at the bar without bumping into someone can get some bad but potent moonshine and synthetic udon noodles with Fakion to slurp down. Okay, so I think that, yeah, we'll start at the Tsurutsuru. Maybe we'll learn some more about this common area here. There actually looks to be some good ways to set set things up. There's like 1d3 events and what people are talking about. We could use that once we get in there. And maybe I'll roll up a bartender here really quickly and start with that. So we'll do a D20. Let me get a... completely missed. All right, 19. This is Bo. Is that my name? No. Bo Yuval. Oh, that's another first name. Bo 12. Bo Atticus. And background D20. Well, we know that they're a bartender, but we'll say that they are... Used to be a gas farmer. So polite it hurts. Always stares at people's teeth. And their looks... 9. No shoes, tight shirt, black pants. All right, interesting. So kind of going with the no shirt, no shoes, no service kind of thing. All right, so Bo Atticus will be our bartender. And now we'll start. All right, so I'm going to, I had some sort of long maintenance check or something. I'm exhausted. It's night shift, but I can always count on seeing my old favorite shoeless bartender, Bo Atticus. So I walk in, and right away, Bo used to really annoy me, but now it's just like I've kind of found it kind of comforting to hear Bo. And so I say, "How you doing there, Bo?" And he says, "Well, Baker Cage." It's like, "What'd I tell you, Bo? I'm sorry. I always forget. You like to be called Jorma. It's quite a nickname. How'd you get that?" "Well, I don't know. I think it's because I was always a kind of a wild kid. I was always acting up, and so my uncle used to say, 'Hey, find your ma. Go find your ma. Don't bother me.' And so I think he said Jorma." It's like, wow, is that true? It's like, you know what, Bo? I don't even know. Can I get a drink? He says, "You bet." And he really knows my drink. Big smile, takes a quick glance down at my teeth, which, again, I used to be creeped out by that. And now I kind of just like widen my mouth so that I could let him get his fixation out of the way. And as far as my drink goes, we'll just say that I don't know if there's anything. I bet weapons would be like a good way to find the name of a drink. So we'll say, what is that, a 1d10? We'll say that this drink is called 8 chain guns. We'll call it the chainsaw. To be like, "Chainsaw for my man here." And I'd say thank you, and I flip him 2 credits, 1 for the drink and 1 for the tip, because I know that there's an unspoken rule with Bo Atticus that if you give a tip right away, it's only proper, it's only respectful. He'll take care of you the whole night. Now, there is something in here about inebriating substances. Depending on what the effects of those are, I might put one of those into play. Let's see. You know what? We'll roll on this table here. This is the addictive substances. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, we'll roll a D12 on this table, and we'll see. This is more like drugs. And we'll see, 10. So that would be Maxoma CG for long, short exposure to low or high gravity. As a side effect after use, the user feels weightless. So, yeah, maybe this is something that normally makes me feel kind of like after a long day of being in low G, I need a Maxoma CG to like make me feel a little bit better. Now, we will say that the cost of that is 5, and so I don't just want to make it, I'll take a sip of it, but it comes in a vial that I can cap it up and use it when I want. So kind of sipping at it, but I had 27 minus 5, 22 plus 1. So, and then I'll put it in my, I have enough for like one dose of the Maxoma CG. later, and we won't do any of the side effects, but I'll use it to after I have another, walk or anything in the void. And I'll say, so, Bo, and I kind of take a sip of the chainsaw. Actually, what's really funny? I didn't roll on chainsaw. Let me see if I'm just making this up. Yeah, I rolled. This is kind of cool. I rolled on chain guns. And so it's a Mexoma CG, which would be like Mexoma chain gun. I don't know. Maybe that's not as cool as I thought it was, but I thought it was pretty cool. So let's just say, so Bo, and I choke it down. I say, you heard anything lately? He says, I certainly have. And he leans in. He goes, did you hear that the mining colony? And I go, you mean the one on XM 217? He goes, that's the exact one. There hasn't been any comms for weeks. And I go, yeah, they were saying there was some kind of accident down there. They just lost a shortwave or something is what they're saying. He goes, puts his hands on his hips. He goes, well, now I would have thought that too. But you know what? The rumor, and then he gets like a little quiet. He leans in. He says, the rumor is that there's pirate activity. And I go, pirate activity? The hell you mean pirate activity? He goes, yeah, pirate activity. And actually, they're thinking it might be, and now he gets really quiet. He leans in. It might be one of the cults. And just to include one of these cults into the mix here, we don't know if I'm going to follow up on this, if this will mean anything, but, it's good to put some seeds early on in solo play. So, cults 76. Let's see if we can roll one of these up. How many are there? 4. So we'll roll a d4. There's my wonky d4. That's the rules. So we will roll that. And let's get a better roll. 4. Okay. Pathic. Connect to the unknown. Contact was lost. The proud Octagus Gem Fleet Corporation vanished from the radar, soon to be lost forever. Some few decades later, rumors spread of their return, but something seemed wrong. Visitors seldom returned. Surviving witnesses told of morbid creatures and horrific murders. Pathic, a self-invented term, now primarily operates in the Enoro Missa Lepidoptera. I got to figure out how to say this. Lepidoptera. So that'd be Lepidoptera triangle, but also in the 270-degree direction towards the distant ogre. They're pale and thin. They proudly keep on exploring uncharted areas in the universe. No one does it better. That's their calling. They want to build important new hubs, spacecraft stations. Their leader is anyone claiming to be the even informal frontrunner will soon be slaughtered. Scarcities, abundances, keywords. Insanity, rusty scent, violence, hissings, obscurity, coldness. So he says, some people are saying that it's the Pathic. And I go, Pathic? Now, come on now, Bo. I'm not expecting you to be one to give me tall tales. He goes, this is no tall tale. I heard this on very good authority, that it was the Pathic. And I said, what has the Pathic got any interest in taking over a mining colony? You know they don't stay anywhere very long. They're always trying to explore, go to the edge of that thing, man. And then I shiver as I say that. And he says, what was that? And I go, nothing. Just talking about the edge of things. Well, I guess you'd say it's got me on edge. He says, another tough spacewalk, And I go, yeah, I don't know what the hell's happening, but, and I close my eyes a little bit, and the monitor, I can tell I'm kind of going somewhere in my head a little bit, and suddenly the monitor like zizzes out a little bit, like the TV. Think about like a sports bar, the TV is above the bar. And of course, Bo doesn't know what the hell is going on, so he's like tapping the side of it, like, I have got to get this thing replaced, And I say, well, anyways, anything else besides that? I don't know if I have the mind space right now to be giving it over to Pathic pirates. And he said, let's see. Anything else going on? Well, yeah, anything going on with in the iron ring here. Now this would be a 1d3, which, well, I could just roll 1d6 and we'll do 1 to 2, 3 to 4. All right, 2. Someone approaches and asks if the player characters are interested in a non-fizz experience. The person owns a handful of small non-fizz uptime rooms in a dirty, shabby place nearby. Now I forgot what a non-fizz. Okay, so I think that's like hallucinogenic. And so as he's about to explain this to me, from behind me comes a tap on my shoulder. And this is a gentleman who is, or a woman, Ravi, says, "Excuse me, can I talk to you for a second?" And I go, yeah, for a second. He goes, "Thank you. Are you looking to expand your horizons?" And I kind of smile because just that phrase, it's like I work out in the endless horizon. So how ridiculous is it to ask that question? I look at Bo, I go, "Bo, am I someone who's looking to broaden my horizons?" And Bo is cleaning a glass and he says, "Well, now I would say that Mr. Baker here has just about expanded horizons more than any human being possibly could." And Robbie says, "My apologies. I only meant it as an expression. Might I talk to you about an experience unlike anything you've ever had before?" And I say, "What are you selling?" And he says, "Selling? No, no, no. I'm offering a unique experience." And I cut him off. "What are you selling?" And then he kind of like straightens himself out, see that he's been called on the BS, and is just like to get to the point. And so we'll say, we'll roll the 1d12 again for. I'm pretty sure that's what non-fizz experiences are. I could be wrong, but I haven't been so far. Oh, great! Here's all the tables right here, actually. And so addictive substances would be 108. So let's just see if I have this right. Roll 1d20 when using an addictive substance. I saw non-fizz somewhere on here. Let me just make sure that I have that right. Okay, so actually, I suppose a non-fizz could be a drug, but what it's actually referring to is like virtual reality. So if we look at top left here, among the countless spacecraft and space stations connected to the Iron Ring is Aurum 80, a forgotten corner of the Aurum sector. Many hardworking survivors are stuck there, saving every hollow earned for a cryo ticket out of the place, or spending them all on non-fizz virtual reality drugs. Yep, and the corrupt bridging ticket lottery. So really quick, bridging is basically, if you've seen The Expanse, it's like the rings. You can either go into cryo sleep and travel for years if you're going very far, or you can go on these bridges. But these bridges, first of all, they're experimental. Sometimes they bridge you no one knows where. And also, they cost a lot, and they only like leave several times a year. Okay, so these non-fizz experiences, what are our options for that? What we can do is we can use the actual person who is, I guess, the bar is named after, which is Hina Sarutsuru, who's a carbon, kind of like a replicant from Blade Runner. Ring Thug, former astrochemist, owns the Sarutsuru, socially skilled with a good sense for business, makes and sells Ola, a non-fizz drug, to Monotone. The drug is made from fuel and strange flowers grown. So we won't say that this is Hina. We'll just say that this is a person that's going around the bar selling Ola to the customers on behalf of Hina, probably. But if we could, 108, let's see what Ola does here. I guess, what page am I on? 82. So 108. Okay. Different varieties of non-fizz drugs used to enter states of virtual and augmented reality. Zero Q type can be used with a visor that projects images to enhance the experience. Okay, so that'd be 4. And I say, now I'm aware, just because would be well known in the universe, that like it is possible to get addicted to non-phys experiences. One of the greatest episodes of Star Trek: The Next Generation is when what's his name gets addicted to like the holodeck, and we're already seeing, how this possibility is coming closer and closer every day. But why don't I use my Excel sheets here to see if I can come up with, I say, all right, get to the point. What kind of non-fizz are you offering? Because some non-fizzes you could like relive parts of your life or whatever. So why don't we try the one on the left here? So we'll do a D100 3 times. So we'll do red as 10s, black as not hundreds, ones. So 31. Coordinate 97. Relentless. Oh, this sounds like a fun non-fizz. 92. Junction. Coordinate relentless junction. Junction being a joining point. Coordinate relent. Oh, Tetris. Great. So he says, this is an ancient game. It was invented many, many years ago, and some claim that there's a secret message hidden in it. It was called Tetris or Tetris, and this game allows you to connect different cubes and shapes. And I go, thank you, that'll be all. And then Ravi says, hold on, wait. That's who I offer to just anybody. But for you, I actually have a much, much more interesting non-fizz. And I go, oh, really? And let me guess, you're selling it to just me. It's like, that's right, because I can tell you are a serious customer. And this one is 59. Transport, okay. 30. Volatile, 20. Repair kit. Okay. This one is an immersive game of risk and challenge. You have to transport trinitrotoluene, an ancient, volatile, explosive. And I go, you talking about TNT? Says, yes, that's right. He says, that's not ancient. We still use that. And number 2, why is everything ancient with you? No, I don't need to simulate having risk, okay? Everything on the iron ring is risk. And he says, kind of lowers his shoulders. And Ravi is just like, I'm no good at this. And I look at Bo. Bo shrugs his shoulders. I go, hold on a minute. You were doing fine. I'm just not interested, okay? And he says, no, it's just that like Hina is, never mind. And Bo says to Ravi, you know what, Ravi? I think you just need a good 5-minute break. What do you say? And he says, nah, I don't, that's not, and then Bo, kind of showing a side that we haven't seen before, Bo leans in and goes, big smile, but it's only the mouth is smiling. He says, no, Ravi, I think you need to take a 5-minute break. And Ravi looks up and suddenly realizes, like, oh, I should not have been talking about Hina or that business, right? Hina is probably, if Hina owns a bar and Hina has people walking around that bar trying to sell drugs, this is probably a pretty shady operation, and you don't want to be talking about the boss in the operation. And so Ravi says, oh, you're right, and walks away. And we will say that Bo and I look at each other like, because this is a sort of person that is not going to do very well on the Iron Ring. Somebody that is wearing their emotions on their shoulders and doesn't know how to run a scam and is just sort of naive. Um, what's the phrase? Wet behind the ears. I think that's right. And so we just kind of like wish him the best. And so I say, all right, I'm sorry, Bo. What were you saying? You're saying something about something going on lately. What have people been talking about? So right here we got a 1d3 what people talk about. We can roll another. I don't know why I keep doing that when I have. All right, another 2. The bartender, Rozzy, or in this case Bo, fears having to choose sides in a coming gang war. And so I guess maybe Bo and I, we've had a long-standing relationship. And Bo knows that I'm a professional, I'm serious, and I'm not going to run my mouth. And I'm the closest thing I can get to sort of like a patron who he can show his true colors to, as much as Bo is able to, because Bo is very, you know, he's got that Mr. Beast smile. And he says, well, normally I wouldn't be so forceful with the kid, but things are heating up around here. And I said, is this hot enough that I need to get myself out of here? He goes, no. It's not going to affect civilians, but let's just say that. And his eyes go up towards like where Hina's office is. He says, let's just say that somebody is very tense and trying to save up resources and trying to gather more money. And that's why you have points towards Ravi, and the insinuation being that she's getting more desperate, trying to stockpile resources and money, and so has these sort of people that are not really at the level that would normally work for the organization out there punching the pavement, trying to raise money, trying to, people like Ravi should not be selling drugs. And so that explains that. And I said, well, damn, I will say that most of the time I not so happy to be at work. But one thing you could say for doing void walks is at least I can't get stuck in the middle of whatever this is when I'm out there. And Bo gives a knowing glance. And I would say what I would do from here is I would look for some more rumors. I would travel to my my home, my hub, and along the way, I would want to, if we were to say that this bar right here, the Sarut is here, and I would say, okay, my thing is, 1, 2, just so that I can get a lay of the land. Let's see. Now, these are modules that you would add on to your, craft, but we can say, use them to say, what everything is in terms of modules along the Iron Ring. I'm thinking in my head right now, and this is actually really good behavior. Speak out loud what you're saying in your head. That will give it some more form. Pretty much the whole time I have been doing this, I've been imagining the inside of a mall that I used to go to when I was a kid. And I was just instead of a Foot Locker or something, I was placing the Sarut there, right? And so if we think about this as a mall, like an indoor mall, you have the corridor you walk down. The bar is one. Let's see what else that we could come up with. Now these again are not going to work perfectly, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So let's say these is 28. And this is a tech module, confrontation modules. All right, let's roll a 1d6 to see which of these we're going to roll on. General, tech, or we'll go in order. So let's do a 1d20. So, all right, 20. So 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Hydroponics farm grows enough food to feed the crew. So we'll say that this is a hydroponics. and maybe they sell supplies for that there. Maybe they sell some of the plants. And then starting from there, since we have, we don't have a D28, I'll just roll on D6. 3. Where was I? 1, 2, 3. A panic room. The next one is repair bay. We'll say that this is a repair bay. And then let's go on to a tech module. Now this one looks to be like a 1d8. I'll just roll a 1d10 and see if that'll catch it. That was a 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Surveillance system. Systems for surveillance of the hub. So we'll say that this is like a security, and it's like an AI security system. Maybe they even do a security checkpoint there. And then let's see if we could throw a confrontation module. But this would definitely be like for the spacecraft. So I doubt that this one is going to be as useful, but let's just see what it says. 2 hull grapplers. With a successful risky maneuver, the pilot can attach to another spacecraft. So this has kind of nothing to do with that, but only because I know it's just what I thought of. And I thought of like risky jobs. You need to pay someone to do that. So maybe this one would be a place that we can go and find contractors if we needed to hire any for the crew. And then the hub is right here. Again, like I'm imagining the hub as if this is the outer wall of the iron ring, and then there's, some sort of like swirling dock apparatus, then my craft is dock there as anything would dock, but then I have to pay some sort of like, monthly fee to have it secured there, so that I basically like I can seamlessly walk into it. I don't even need to like gear up or anything. And maybe it has here, what do they call that in Warhammer? Like a mechadendrite, like a crane arm, or a grappling arm, I guess you'd call it. And then there's a viewport, and maybe we have just some sort of weapons module there that we would fill in at some point. And I would say it's pretty secured right now, because it sounds like I work for a mining company, and I think that they're probably deploying me. But I would be able to detach with this. The risk that I have of this, well, it's like finding really good parking in New York City, right? It's like you could leave, but then it's a chance that you're not going to find a place to dock again for a while. But this would be the place that I sleep. This would be the place that I store stuff. And yeah, and because I have that phone number, I can then use that to generate, calls and contracts. And for that, I would use the D100 sheet that I had just for fun. Let's try to generate that. So we'll do an 81 extract. So I call that number, and someone picks up extract sinister 31. Oh, wait, 37? Is that a 1 or? Yeah, 737. Extract sinister silo. Okay. So I might call that, and they say, this would actually be a great point to connect. And so they say, I call that number, and they say, registry number. And I just like read the number off. There's another number there that just says like 1ZL alpha. And they're like, please hold. And then a series of sounds, and it says, we need to have you go and extrapolate a silo for one of our clients. They have a whatever sort of food. I doubt it's going to be grain by a mining colony, but maybe whatever one of their clients is, they call this number to have like nefarious jobs done, and they have like one of these. Yeah, they have like a silo that it has food to feed the miners, but they're worried that there's some sort of uprising there, or revolt, or there's pirate activity. And so what they want is to extract all of their stuff from that silo before whoever is there takes that over. And it wouldn't be a good look for the business, because it's like, these people, if they're in trouble, they need food, but they said that's why they call this company or whatever. And so I would then probably pet my dog, and I think that would be a really good place to end it, just figuring out the name of my dog. And instead of doing this whole 1d6 and 1d20, I'll just roll this and hope it gets under 80. 39. I would then pet my dog, whose name is Tammy. So I pet my little AI dog, Tammy, and I say all this and more on the next episode of Man Alone, Depths in Space. Damn, that was pretty fun. I hope you had a good time, and I hope you feel inspired, capable of solo playing this game, because it needs some more love. And damn, Free League, Stockholm Kartell, where is it? Where's the Flag City module? We're all waiting for it. We're hungry. I mean, I'm not like demanding it. I'm very happy when they provide it. I'm not saying like, you better do, do what you want. I gotta update this list. Let me know if you're not on this list. I gotta update it.